Hey guys.
Welcome, Chris.
Thanks.
Wow. So I'll add on to whatever.
I gotta look at myself too, like this. It's terrible.
You're all over the place, left and right. But yeah, I'm gonna add on to everyone else and say you were great on the Bieber roast last night.
Thanks.
Yeah, I think probably a lot of people
Did you
here
guys
were
see it
able
or
to say.
not? Really? Oh, wow.
So you were saying, did you get to see it? Did you get to watch?
I didn't
the
watch
roast?
it. No, I was flying here.
Yeah.
So no, I didn't see it, but I read Twitter a little bit. So.
Has the reaction been good so far?
Yeah, people thought it was good, and I don't know. Some people were like, "Whoa, man, you went dark," but it's like, I don't know. I thought that was the point of the roast. I thought that's what you're supposed to do. So yeah, it was fun. I had a good time.
Yeah, during the roast, you made a couple ISIS jokes, which
Yeah, that was probably the thing where they were talking about the dark thing. But I don't know. I don't think anyone. I don't know if anyone else made any ISIS jokes, but
there was
that's
actually
definitely the hot button issue, I guess. I wasn't thinking about that, and then I did it, and then it aired, and then people were like, "Yo, you shouldn't have brought that up," and I was like, "Oh well, it's too late now." I don't know. I think the job of a comedian though is to like push the envelope, right? And
Definitely.
then that's where you find the line. I don't know.
it seems like you found it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you have any hesitation before any of the material, ISIS or non-ISIS? Because you know Justin Bieber quite a little well.
Yeah, I know him, but there were a few. No, they were just the editing process for me was picking and choosing before it went on. I didn't not do any because I thought they were too harsh. Yeah. I just kind of thought. I thought I'll just say whatever, and then Comedy Central will choose that, and that's what they did. They cut out some stuff from everybody though. So
yeah, what was the mood like after the roast? Like at the
it was
after
good.
party?
Everyone was pretty happy about it,
Yeah.
and I thought he actually was really cool about just kind of taking it in stride. I wasn't sure how he was going to take it, to be honest. I mean, the guy's 21, 22. I don't think I could have done that when I was that age, but yeah, he took it well, and everyone was happy. He didn't even go to the after party. He immediately flew to Las Vegas, and we were all like, "Yeah, cool. Where is he?" And so we had a good time.
Yeah, right on. What a lot of people might not know is that you are actually one of Justin Bieber's favorite comedians.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
And you guys kind of have a relationship. You guys are friends. Do you want to tell the story about how you guys met first?
He was at the I guess he came to the Laugh Factory to see me. I actually don't know if he's. I don't know. I think he specifically came to see me, but I'm not sure. And then after that, he would come every now and then to see a bunch of the comedians. But I know he would always ask to see if I was performing. And then there was one night where I was on my way to the club, and the owner called me, Jamie Masada from the Laugh Factory, and he was like, "Hey, Bieber's here, and he really wants you to be here." I said, "Well, I'll be right there. I'm already on my way." And he was like, "Yeah, but I want you to go next because you don't know if he might leave. I don't know where the hell he's from, but that's how he sounds." And was that too dark for you guys, or was that okay? And he and I was like, "Oh, I'll be right there." And then I went on stage, and I got there, and then the owner was like, "Hey, Justin wants you to bring him on stage." And so I brought him on stage and made fun of him. And that was like a year and a half ago, maybe.
So you got to jump on the roast.
Yeah, well, he had been. I know he'd been wanting to get roasted for a while, and Comedy Central told him no. They were like, this was like 2 years ago. They said, I don't know, like I guess the joke is they said go out and get more material on yourself, and then he definitely did. Yeah, so.
Yeah. And so obviously you star on NBC's Undateable, which we just saw a clip of. Your character, Danny, is sort of a ladies' man, right?
Yeah, Danny would be a ladies' man. Yeah.
Do you identify with that character?
No, I don't think so, man. I've had enough train wreck dates. No. A lot of girls go like this about me. They're like, I don't know. Like girls do that.
Like in real life?
Yeah, I feel like I say this way too much to be a ladies' man. Oh, come on. You know what I mean? So I don't think. Yeah, it's acting. I'm such a good actor, is what it is.
So now that people confuse you as a ladies' man, has that given you more confidence now that you've played the character?
No, I still bumble around. Yeah, I mean, it definitely helps getting girls like being on a TV show, but no, it's just whatever.
Yeah. The show just started its second season. What kind of have you changed things about the character in the second season that were different from the first season?
Yeah, actually. Well, I didn't change things, but I feel like because I was with, you know, you play the character for however many episodes we did, 10 or 12 in the first season. I kind of, they say don't judge the character as an actor, and I never try to do that, but I felt maybe Danny was like less smart than Chris, you know? And then I realized that in the second season that it's not that he's not smart, it's just that he's like pretending to be dumb so he can get away with stuff. So there's that I learned.
So he's
and
secretly
I think
smart.
that's funnier, and I think that is more interesting.
Yeah. Have you learned anything else about the character over the years?
Nah, that's it.
And the cast has changed a little bit, right? You guys have an addition?
Yeah, we have Bridget Mandler, who's really great. I didn't. She's as old as Justin Bieber, and she is a pop star. And I didn't know who she was just because I'm 35, but I was told that she has I was just upset because like I felt like it was kind of my show until she got there, because she has way more like followers than like so many more followers than I do. And Brent, the other guy on the show, was sure to tell me that very quickly. So she is great. I mean, this young girl came on the show, and I was like, well, we'll see, because I know she's from. I think she was from like either the Disney Channel or something like that. And when she's so funny, man, like she's so funny, and it's so cool to see somebody that talented that young, because again, when I was 21, I don't know if I could have done that. I mean, she's really good at she's so good at rounding out the cast. She's like Woody from Cheers, but where she's like just kind of like aloof, but also like you care about her. She's just so funny, man. I think she's got a great career ahead of her.
And obviously you do a lot of stand-up. You do it pretty regularly, right? Which kind of do you prefer, doing stand-up or comedy acting, like in shows and movies?
I love stand-up. That's like my thing. That's how I got on TV. So, I can't really say that. I mean, being on set is cool. I work with all these guys are my friends. I've known them for so long, except for Bridget, really. But
she's bottom left.
Yeah, and then that guy, David, I met at the show, but everyone else I knew for years, and it's like going to camp every day. I mean, it's awesome, but to me, nothing's more special than stand-up. Like that's just kind of, I feel like it's just too hard and it's too dangerous. You're up there. It's like if I bomb now, like it's on the internet, and it's like that's how stand-up is every single night. You know, I feel like a TV show. I mean, I guess everything's on the internet now anyway, but it's like acting. It just doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't feel as dangerous as stand up to me, and that's what keeps attracting me to stand up.
When did you start doing stand up?
I was 25 when I first started, so 9 years ago. I did stand up for the first time 9 years ago. Yeah.
It's a little older than the usual age of people when they start.
Yeah, I know a lot of people that started in their 20s, but I mean, you hear guys like Chappelle and Eddie Murphy and Jim Carrey, and they all started when they were like 16. I just would not have been funny when I was 16. Like, I mean, I think I was funny for a 16-year-old, but like, I don't know, man. Sometimes I see videos of young comedians doing really well when they were like 19, and I can't even believe how they were able to string a sentence or thoughts together. Because I mean, my jokes would have just been like poopy jokes. I mean, which by the way, I still think are really funny, but.
How did you know you wanted to start doing it then? How did you
stand up?
Yeah.
There was never a thought where I was like, "Oh, I'm going to do stand up." I just was like, I never. It was just what I was always going to do. It was never like, "Hey, this." No. You know what? My dad tells a story now that I think about it, where I was watching Jerry Lewis doing something on stage, and I was playing in the TV room, and my dad was laughing at Jerry Lewis, and I stopped and I looked at him. At Jerry Lewis, and I said, and my dad noticed that I was watching him, and everyone was laughing in the show, and my dad was laughing, and I said, "Hey, what is he doing?" Or no, I said, "Hey, Dad, who is that?" And he said, "That's Jerry Lewis." And I said, "Oh, he like makes people laugh?" And my dad said, "Yeah." And he said, "And that's like his job?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "That's like how he makes money?" And he said, "Yeah, as a matter of fact, he makes a lot of money doing that." And then my dad said, I watched him for a few more beats, and I went, huh. And he said like right there was like where I discovered like where I was like, oh, like that's a job and you can like just do that. I'll do that instead of like really work. You know?
How old were you when that happened? 23, 25?
Yeah, that was after I started stand up. I don't know. I was young.
Yeah. Speaking of stand-up, you've got a new special coming out.
Yeah.
It's called Incorrigible. It's
Right.
debuting on Netflix April 17th.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about it? What the topics will you be covering?
I talk about sports. I talk about dating a lot and sex. And I talk about just different types of people that I ran into. I talk about when I started doing stand-up and how hard it was. And it's basically, I don't know if you saw my last special, it's kind of like that, only it's me a few years older and a little bit more mature, but not much. Yeah.
Do you try to make your comedy more mature? Or is it something that happens on accident?
No, I don't. I just I feel as I'm getting older, I start thinking about. Well, my first special, I talked a lot about different groups of people and how, and I feel like it was very silly, and that's just what I like doing, and I feel like whenever I do something like, and I feel like for me it was a success, whether or not people liked it, I feel like I did it already, and like I don't necessarily need to do that again. For instance, if this show tanks, like I don't think I'm gonna do another multi-camera sitcom. Like I did Whitney and I did this,
Right.
and like I did it that was 4 years of my life already. So
Would you do a single
yeah, I
camera
would
sitcom?
definitely. That's be more something I would want to do. But so now with this special, it's definitely silly, but it's just a little more opinionated and the stuff now that I'm working on that's new from that. I've been working on a new hour, which is a little clunky still, but is even further from that. I just feel like I want to do something a little different always, I guess. The second somebody like says like I learned this when I played like Topher on Workaholics. Like a lot of people knew me from that. Like for some reason that show, that episode, a lot of people saw. I was like, I didn't like to be known as that, you know? And
Right.
like, so anytime someone would be like, hey, you're Topher from Workaholics, I'd be like, I've done other stuff, you know? And that kind of bothers me a little bit when people latch onto one thing. Like the same thing kind of happened when like there's a bit I do on drunk girls on my first special. People started like that went viral, and then people were saying that. And the second that happened, I was like, I want to do something else. I don't want to be that guy. So I think that kind of plays a part in what happens with my material.
Yeah. So what projects are you working on for the future? You said you're working. I mean,
Well,
other than the new hour.
Yeah, I have a new hour that I'm going to probably tour with before I shoot. But I have this special coming out. I have other scripts that I'm developing with other people that I'm movie scripts that I'm trying to get off the ground, and people attached to certain things that. But just enough trying to get irons in the fire.
Yeah.
I'm also auditioning for different movies. You're never above that. Well, I mean, maybe you are if you're Hugh Jackman or whatever, but I got a long way for that. But yeah. So just that really.
Yeah. So you mentioned Whitney, and obviously, Whitney Cummings is a comedian in her own right,
Yeah.
and then Undateable's got a very funny cast. Some of them are kind of up-and-coming comedians as well. Does it ever get kind of competitive on set between you and castmates to be the funniest person?
Only in like a fun way, not really. Like it's so weird. Like I've been doing this show for 2 years, and like these guys, I see them every day, and even when we're not shooting, I see them every day because we do stand up. Like I always see Brent,
Yeah.
and Ron and Rick, and it's never like I don't know, like it's that whole like roasting mentality where it's like, oh, you got me, or you won that. Oh, I can't wait to be funny on top of that. It's like,
Right.
It doesn't, for me at least, inside my heart, it doesn't feel like it's competitive. But I think that's how the other guys feel as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You mentioned roasting again. Is that something you want to do more of? More roasts?
I don't know. I love making fun of my friends. Like that's like so fun for me, and I love being made fun of. Like it's just really fun. My family and we that's how kind of we show love. When I grew up, that's how I knew that people liked me, is like they would make fun of me because they felt comfortable enough. But It's very. That being said, it's very weird to look into Shaq's eyes and say, "Hey, you're dumb." Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know him, you know. So I was. I can honestly say, like, I don't get nervous when I do stand up, but like at the roast, I was a little bit in the back of my head about, I hope I don't really piss people off. Because I respect these guys. Like, I watched Shaq and of course Snoop Dogg. I mean, I was big fans of these guys, you know. So like when I was a kid, so like I don't want them to be like, oh, that was whack what he did, you know.
No, you don't want to get on Shaq's bad side.
Oh man, he's so big. You have to Google the pictures of him sitting next to Kevin Hart. It's crazy how big it was. He said afterwards, he said, "Hey man, good job." And like my head was under his armpit. Like we hugged, and it wasn't even a hug. It was like I was holding onto his leg. It was sad.
So other than Jerry Lewis, who are some of your, when you were growing up and coming up as a comic, who are some of your idols and the people you looked up to?
My favorite guys were Eddie Murphy and Jim Carrey. Like I thought that they were just silly but still like so funny. And I just loved how they could like play different characters in their stand-up.
Yeah.
Well, Robin Williams.
Yeah. Well, speaking of, Jim Carrey, Robin Williams, when you watch Undateable, you have a kind of a physical style. You use your body a lot.
Yeah.
Is that something that came out of watching Jim Carrey and people like that?
I don't know if like I would watch physical guys and be like, that's what I want to do. I think it was more that just kind of like that's what I felt, you know, like
was right
when I was a kid, I was just always doing those stupid things. And then I feel like kids do those jerky movements, but I kind of just like kept doing them. And now I'm 35 and I do them.
And people pay you to do them now.
I guess, yeah, they are.
So have you ever, since you're taking auditions and looking for new roles, have you ever thought about going into more dramatic territory? Or
I definitely want to do that. Like I because of, I want to do that because I think I want people to be like, I love, like I said, like when I'm doing something and somebody knows me as that, like I want people to be like, oh wait, he did that? Like I think that's cool. But I also I really want to do that because I think that like it would be so, like it's so funny to me. What I really want to do is action movies. That's what I want to do.
You want to be an action star?
100%, yeah. Like, and I'm not. It's not a joke because I think that it would be so. Like, if I was in Speed, that would be hilarious. But like, not like laugh out loud funny. Be like, yeah. Like, I want to get so famous as an action movie star that when people see me do stand up, they'll be like, oh, that guy does stand up. Like, that would be hilarious to me. Like, if Jason Statham was on stage at the Comedy Store and you'd be like, yo, he was funny, and people would be like, what? To me, that's like would be so funny.
So you want to be in the next Fast and Furious movie, is basically what you're saying.
But really do it. Not like a joke. Like, where I'm like, put it down, but like for real. I'm like, put it down. Like, and people are like, whoa, he's for real. Like that. That's to me is so funny.
I remember I once interviewed Key and Peele, and they were talking about, because they were in Fargo, which is like a very dramatic role.
Yeah.
And they're talking about how, their comedy background kind of helps them do drama in a way, because you have to play it straight. You have to be so serious sometimes.
I guess so, yeah. There's some comedians that are really terrible actors, though. Somebody just went, yeah. Key and Peele, I didn't see that. I'm sure they're great. They have way too much depth to them for them to not be good. I mean, they're very funny and I know them, and they're very good.
Yeah.
But yeah, some comedians, I feel like some comedians just play like they're on stage, you know.
Yeah. Did you have acting training, or was it all?
Yeah. But also, you have to think about how like it's all different mediums, you know. Like if you're just because you're on stage doesn't mean that you do a show or a movie. It's like it's blown up on the screen, and it's this tight, you know. So it's like you can't be doing, I don't know. I don't know. You can't be that big. Or you got to be big in a different way, you know?
Yeah.
Jim Carrey figured it out.
He definitely did, yeah. Last question, then we'll go to the audience. You've got a very popular Vine account. You're huge on that. Have you ever thought about kind of transitioning into a web series or having some sort of project that's like web only?
I feel like I'm on a TV show, so I don't want to be on a web series. I feel like you do a web series to get a TV show.
But there could be more freedom, or you could,
Yeah, I guess so. But that's what I have a Vine for, and I have Twitter, and it's like I don't feel like I'm like not, getting out there. I also Vine that kind of like jumped the shark to me. Like I was having a good time on it, and then once people were like renting like police uniforms to do a Vine, and like
The budget went up for Vines.
yeah, it's like I was like, oh, okay, I'm not gonna do this anymore. It's just sad. Like it's when there's like camera work and angles and like I just wanted to shoot me being funny. I think
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. I think we'll take questions from the audience now.
All right, you guys got questions or what?
Hi, Chris.
Hi.
Love Undateable, and also was a huge fan of Whitney. Curious if you can share any highlights from working on Whitney, and do you keep in touch with anyone from the show?
Yeah, Whitney's one of my best friends. I actually just texted her on the way over here, but she, funny story on Whitney. God. The pilot was that we shot when she dressed in that nurse uniform thing. I don't know if you saw that episode, but it was like she always dressed down, and then she was all of a sudden in this outfit, and it was very sexy, and we were like laughing, all of us, and then she had to do a thing where she tried to be sexy, and then her thing got caught on the doorknob, like her outfit, and it broke the door a little bit, and that was it. No more sexy. You know what I mean? Like that was very, very funny. So that's what I remember.
Any other questions?
Hey Chris, how's it going? When you were doing stand-up in LA and you were first like hitting open mics, were you just hitting the open mic scene for a while until you were like, all right, I got 10 minutes, I'm gonna go to a club and see if I can get a spot, or like were you like more approached? How did it work out for you?
That's a good question. It's not. I mean, I guess you could do that, but like I think the thing to do and what I did was I just did a bunch of open mics, and I kept doing open mics like at coffee shops and holes in the wall, weird places that just had a microphone and an open mic night, and like bookstores and laundromats, just weird, and you just do those enough to where there's enough comedians out there that want to like get on stage, and there's limited space, so you'll get like comedians that are above you, so to speak, coming to those places, and then they'll see you, and then they would be like, oh, I have a show going on at the Improv, why don't you come do it? And then eventually you just start doing those, and then that's how you get into the clubs. So that's what I did, and I think that's the way to go. I always tell comedians that are starting out to like not ask for spots, because if you're good and if you work hard, it'll just kind of happen if you work at it.
Do you often pay it forward and look out for kind of new up and coming young talent?
I brought Brent on the road before the show, and now he doesn't need to be brought on the road. He has his own career, but it was funny too because I asked him to open up for me in Vancouver when I was there last week. Last week, yeah, and I asked him, I was like, look, I know obviously you don't need to do this, but he was like, yeah, sure, I'll come. And so he came, and then on stage, one of the first things he said was, he's like, I used to open up for Chris, I don't really have to do it anymore, but, and I was like, what, can I say a bad word? But it's like, what a jerk, like, just trying to be cocky in the front of the thing, And then he came off stage, he was like, yo, man, and he told me he said it. I was like, I know. And he was like, man, I knew you were thinking about that. Like, I was too cocky. I was like, shut it. So, but.
Have you guys repaired your relationship since then?
No, I haven't talked to him since.
I think we got an audience question over there.
One last question. Hi, Chris.
Hey.
I'm a big fan.
Thanks.
I remember a few weeks ago you tweeted something about kicking like 60 audience members out.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I was wondering what the worst audience experience you've had is.
That was up there, man. I mean, this is like 30 people, so 60 is W. I mean, that's a lot of people. There were 500 people at the show, so it didn't affect the show that much. But I kicked 60 people out. I mean, and I went on stage. Right before I went on stage, my buddy Dan Levy was on opening for me, and he's hilarious. And they were like rowdy, a bunch of people. And before I went on, I said to the bouncers, I was like, "Yo, what's up with these people?" And they were like, "There's a lot of them. There's like 60 of them, and they're just it's like one group." And they're chatty, and I've told them a bunch of times, and I said, listen, if I'm up there and I tell you to kick them out, kick them all out. And
Did you have a signal, or did you just say?
yeah, the signal is kick them out. And because like I don't like that's so disrespectful. Like and the worst part is that they don't realize. 90% of the time they don't realize that that's what they're doing,
Right.
you know? And they're just like, we're just having fun. It's like, yeah, but everyone's like, shut up. So it got to the point where they were just being so annoying and you could see the other people were like, come on, you know? And I said, yo, you guys, could you quiet down, like, please? And one of the girls was just like, we're just having fun. And I was like, yeah, I understand that, but like, they're not because of your fun. So just like, you know, relax. And she's like, no, you're wrong. And I was like, okay, am I wrong? And everyone went, no, shut up. Like 420 people. No, 440. And so I'm a comedian. So so then she's like, you're wrong. And then she went like this, continue, like that. And I was like, yo, you're out. Like, there's no way. Like, get out of here. And I was like, and I said something like, you're here. You don't understand. You can't do this to me. And like, because I'm like, she was with the dude that she was there, like, obviously having sex with. I was like, I'm not having sex with you. Like, so there's no reason for me to take that. Like, you could just leave. Like, leave, and I already have your money, so bye. And people, and then, so 60 of them were like, oh, man, not cool. And her dude was like, not cool. And I was like, okay, just leave. And then they left, and then they all went on Twitter afterwards. Were saying like, because I said like I wouldn't like. They were like, you said you wouldn't have sex with her. Like, that's so demeaning. And I was like, that's not what I was saying. I was like, this is why you got thrown out, because you don't understand things. And so I threw him out, and then it was like on Twitter, and then it was just hilarious. Some dude was like, dude, you disrespect women, and like, and on his thing, he was like, dude, there was one thing where he, like a few tweets down, he posted a picture where he was on a boat with like 4 girls with like bikinis on, and his caption was like, boats and hoes. I was like, dude, what is this world, dude? What is this world that like this guy with this outlet can like think and possibly take me down? Like, if the wrong people saw that, they'd be like, oh, Chris is a sexist. But like if they didn't do their research, like this is just so, it's just so weird. So anyway, after this interview, definitely people will be saying like, yo, it was sexist. And like, even though I explained myself, there will be people that will be like, yo, he hates.
Well, at the very least, you have new material for your next hour.
I did actually tell that story a bunch after that show.
Yeah.
Yeah, on stage in Irvine, California, was like, the dude had a skull tattoo with wings on it. And I was like, you're so obviously from Orange County. Like you guys are in New York and you know how Orange County that is. You're laughing at that joke because you're like, yeah, that is Orange County. You're 3,000 miles away from Orange County. Even people in London would be like, yeah, that is Orange County. He had the skull, he did have a point. I get why I tweeted boats and hoes, you know, like. Can this go viral, please? Please?
Yeah, it's good.
All of you, can you just send it out so everyone understands to shut up at a show and just laugh like you guys are doing? Thank you. Let's all hang out after this. Let's all hang out after this and get tattoos of skulls and, all right?
You'll have to Google Chris D'Elia rant later today.
Yeah, I'll post it if you put it up.
Well, luckily this audience has been much better than the one in Orange County.
These are great.
Thank you so much, Chris D'Elia.
Thank you.
Yeah.